The Black Talk Radio Network is made possible in part with help from the Black Talk Media Project, a North Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. Opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
All right, welcome everybody. You are listening to Blacks in Business Radio, also known as BIB Radio. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please join us every week where we will have new and great ideas for your business, and we are striving to help you open a business if you haven't done so. Today we are going to be speaking with Queen Taese of Liberated Minds. Liberated Minds is an expo that is coming up in the month of July. We'll let her talk to us about all of the guests and the activities that will be going on there. If you are a parent or a school teacher or just an interested party, you should definitely make sure that you tap into this information so that you can provide better schooling, better education for our young black youth. So right now what we're going to do is invite the Queen on. Greetings, Queen. Oh, can she not hear me?
Once again, excited to be here as always.
Okay, I'm sorry, we cut you off a little bit. Greetings, Queen. How are you?
I'm great. Just wanted to give thanks for being on again, once again. Just excited to be here and to share some information, and let's get going.
Absolutely. So when is the event actually? July, what are the dates?
It's July the 14th through the 16th, and it's here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so for people that are not aware of Liberated Minds, go ahead and explain to them what Liberated Minds represents.
All right. Well, the Liberated Minds Black Home School and Education Expo was founded in 2012 and has come a long journey, a beautiful journey of assisting black homeschoolers, and not just homeschoolers, but also parents who are serious about quality education for our children. And so the whole foundation of it is to provide resources. We have a host of exhibitors, over 100 exhibitors with black homeschool materials, curriculum materials, services, programs, a little bit of everything that deals with the enrichment of our African children. And in addition to that, we also provide a host of trainings. We have over 50 workshops over the full weekend, and that's including workshops for our youth from ages 4 to 10 and 11 to 17. And not just the typical workshops, the workshops that are dealing with science, that are dealing with math, that are dealing with entrepreneurship, youth entrepreneurship, a little bit of everything. So in addition to that, the main focal point really is about educating our parents, our educators, our community leaders and members to be able to best educate our Black children. And a lot of it deals with our own detoxification of our own indoctrination, as you know. So a lot of it is just getting rid of a lot of the stuff that we were groomed with, that we were educated with, that are really destroying our children. So really getting in tune with our culture, our divine selves, and being able to implement those things with our children. So it's just a powerful weekend. Networking is beyond what you can ever imagine, as we have people that come from all across the country. We have people that come from the UK, from the Caribbean, from Africa, from everywhere. And it just shows us that no matter where we are in the world as African people, we have the same challenges, the same issues. And so everything will only be resolved when we come together and we build, we bond, we form new relationships, connections to others, and build that real strong community that we all always speak about.
Absolutely. And this, I would have to say, is one of the greatest bonding opportunities because it is based upon educating our future. If we are educating our future, then we have the possibility of a better tomorrow. And I think, like you were talking about, getting detoxed out of what we had been taught, that is very crucial. So in order for that to happen, we have to begin planting these seeds early, because sometimes people don't jump right into the idea of homeschool or secondary education for their children, because of course we've been taught to go to public school, even Christian school and all these other places. We've been taught that this is okay, but it's actually not okay. I stand here and I say to you that any form of schooling that is outside of what we can teach our children is not okay. And I'm saying that from experience. I'm a mother of 4. And I know for myself, the thought of homeschooling was an idea for me, but I didn't know of anything or anybody that could support me in that idea. So I really did not follow through correctly when I was doing it earlier. But if we, the people who are enlightened and aware and awoken to this idea, can just go ahead and plant seeds to these young parents, then it will be helpful to them, even if they decide right now, okay, well, that sounds kind of homeschool, because they have a kind of
well, it's the whole vision of it is when we think about what homeschooling is, a lot of times we just think of ourselves just sitting at a table and I can't quit my job and I can do this and I can't do that. But the bottom line is, no matter where we are, and of course we want those parents or those who have yet to even become parents in preparation of getting this education, which we're finding more and more of those coming. Even sisters and brothers that are not even in relationships yet, haven't even found their king or queen, but know that this is foundational information. We find them coming now, as well as young families, but also for those of us who are having challenges, who are just awakening to some of the reasons why our children we can't recognize who they are anymore. No matter what stage that we're at as parents, as educators, this is extremely beneficial to get that information, to bond with others who are having similar challenges, but also those who have triumphed over those challenges, to be able to speak to others at different legs of the journey and, to come together and share the wisdom and the knowledge. It's really incredible. I did an interview the other day and with one of the newspapers, and the sister asked me, she says, well, what is your response to many of those who may say that so many of our Black people have fought for us to have the rights to be in the public school system, and they've given their lives towards this, and what do you say to those who may feel like this is a slap in the face? And so one of the things that I said is, they gave their lives for us to have the choice and the option that no one can cut us off from that possibility of action if we choose it. I said, but still within that choice, we have to make the best choice based upon what presents itself at that moment in time. So right now, when we look at the public school systems, And really not just now, but it's I'm going to say, if I really want to dive into it, the whole origins of the public school system was not created to, cultivate us and to be independent controllers of our communities, of our minds, of our bodies. It just was not created to do that anyway from the beginning. But even however, having to look at what exactly is taking place and are we getting the results we need, even in terms of economic development, spiritual development, the building of our families. Education goes so far beyond just academics. And when we talk about, educating our children, if we look at culturally and ancestrally, we always looked at our morals and values as a foundation. And matter of fact, a lot of African cultures and traditions, they don't even introduce academics until certain morals and values are in place. Because once you get that information, you have to know how to utilize it in a way that is beneficial for the community. We can see that everywhere. We can see it with doctors, lawyers, all within this society where you have these different professions that are supposed to be entrusted with a high level of integrity. However, their morals and values are not intact. So they may have gotten the degrees, they may have the positions, but yet the level of deceitfulness of the community and all those types of things continues to run rampant. So, these are the tenets when we talk about holistic education. Holistic education is really just African-centered education or African traditions, which is all embedded in the fabric of who we are as a people. So if we don't take our health, the things we eat, the things we put into our body, the things we speak, the things we see around us, all these things are a factor. So a lot of times when I talk to our people, their main thing is academics, and that's it. And because we've been programmed to think that, that's the only thing that is going to get us ahead in life. And so if you look at, so many of the factors, when we remove just the whole element of all the things that are to advance this society as it exists, and we look at, advancing our community, if we deal with the holistic aspects from what we eat, because our health, of course, with so many of us coming down with cancer, and I can list a million diseases and situations from a health standpoint, but also the dismembering of our families. How do we build relationships? How do we train our children, to respect themselves, respect their bodies, respect their future kings or queens? We have to embed them with this information from a very young age. And all of this is part of the educational process, because if we're talking about making these changes overall, every little component is important. And so if we just solely focus on academics, which that is important too, I'm not definitely not discrediting that, but even from an academic standpoint, we have to look at what are, when we're cultivating our children, what are we cultivating them to be, and looking at not just what's the next, the highest paying career in the next 10 years, but what is their divine purpose for coming forward. Because a lot of times we just want to make sure, we want to make sure that they just get enough money so they can do, they cannot be in poverty from that standpoint. But you can be in poverty of the mind and have the most amount of money in your pocket. You can be in poverty of the heart and have the most amount of money in your pocket. So in order to make sure that there's balance in ma'at, through all and everything that we do, it's also looking at the holistic aspect of education. And that's what I really love, too, about homeschooling, is there's no four walls around it. It's infinite. You can travel. I've met families that have literally, one family we went and did an interview with a little while back, who literally packed up their whole house, rented it out, purchased an RV, and have committed to being on the road for 2 years.
That's wonderful.
And they just go from place to place to place, and they give their children the hands-on education, which is way beyond what any textbook, any worksheet, any lecture can give you. So they're actually going to different places. They're spending they stay in the state parks. They go from state park to state park, and then, whatever area they're in, and they venture out, and children are getting in tune with just being outdoors. The sun, the moon, nature, the things that we are no longer in tune with, which really give us a lot of the answers that we're looking for. Just being still and connecting with nature, which is what we are as well, nature. We're a part of nature. So just connecting with those things. So
absolutely. And it is powerful. And the thing is this, we are so entrenched with false doctrine, because you're talking about a family that has decided to not be a part of four walls, okay?
Yes.
Part of the oppression of their children and family, because the school system is there not to tear down just your child, but to break down your family. And people don't recognize that. And so if you are able to receive this that we are given to you, I would encourage you to definitely reach out to Queen Taese. Try to get to the conference. Get the information, because we have surrounded ourselves with the what if, and we that is not not a part of us, but we have adopted this what if syndrome and this fear. And that is, again, a part of the deterioration, that is set forth to tear our people down. And so what I wanted to talk about, too, was how to homeschool. People think, like you said, they'll be sitting at a table and this, and it's so boring or whatever. But you've already given us the example of a family that is packed up and decided to be a part of life, nature, teaching their children.
Yes.
What about co-oping? Tell us what co-oping is.
Well, I mean, there are many ways, and co-oping is definitely one. And one of the quotes that I love by Baba Wakesa Matimoyo of Higher Education is AYA. So look that up as well. They're an online institute. But one thing he always says is that hope is not a strategy. And a lot of times we hope for the best, we wish for the best. But we are at a place in time. Right, exactly. But we're not strategizing. And so part of that strategy is creating such things as co-ops, homeschool co-ops. And we know as Black people, we're the most creative people on the planet. So whatever we get our hands on, we're going to turn it up about 10 decibels. We're going to make it that much better. So just where it started out as just something, we're sitting in the home, we're learning, you got to quit your job and all this stuff. It has really grown into so many different options and ways of doing it. And co-oping is just an amazing way to be able to have the socialization, to be able to connect with other parents. Just a group that comes together, like-minded, similar goals, and so one thing that's beautiful about the co-op is, one parent can teach something that they're strong in, or another parent can teach something they're strong in. No one has to be there 24 hours a day. You say, okay, you come in on Tuesdays, you handle the group from 12 to 4. And I'll come in on these days, or, everybody has their contribution. It's just a complementary type of situation. And what that looks like is really based on the group. Who can do what, at what times, who's proficient in what. And then if you have other needs that you need to bring another educator in, or not just educator, but just community leader, community member, it's really supposed to be a communal thing, which is how we've always learned anyway. Because one of the things I always hear, too, a lot of people will say, well, what about socialization? How are they getting socialized? I don't think that's fair, and they need to be around other children. But, yes, they do need to be around other children. But which children? What children? Are they children that are cultivating the morals and values that you want to see within your child? Are they families that hold the same high level of discipline and excellence that we're striving for? So, making sure that the socialization is strategic socialization, and not saying you're forcing them to be friends with someone, but you're putting them around environments where they can build and bond with those that have like minds, and not just those that are going to be tearing away at their spirit and, steering them in directions that you don't want them to go in. So I think that co-ops is powerful. We have homeschool collectives, which function a little bit differently. They may do more of different field trips together, which co-ops can also do. But they focus a lot more on the socialization, but also other educational opportunities that fall within that. You also have homeschools themselves, very intimate settings, which may have, 5 or 6 students, where, you have an educator or a few educators that basically run the group. They're educators, and they cover all the different subjects. You also have options where, like I tell people a lot of times, they say, well, there's no homeschool groups in my area. I said, find one family. Just find one family. Like, a lot of times we think it has to be this big, magnificent, 20 people type of thing to be effective. But just finding one family who's that serious and strong about it like you, and just to have that one family to connect with, to bond with, to support, because that support is key. I will say, because even when I started, I don't even know how many years now, 22 years ago or whatever, I didn't have that in the first year and a half. And, you know, it wasn't horrible, but it definitely wasn't the same as once we found, you know, some others that had similar like minds, that were doing similar things. You know, that opened up the world, especially for my children.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. And I know there's a lot of fear in it for many, because it's change, and they say, you know, already a lot of us, even with our jobs, have a lot of financial situations, and a lot of us are working to be independent and entrepreneurs. And so there's so much that goes into it, and that's why I say with our own indoctrination of our own, detoxification of our own indoctrination is so key, because we have to be educating ourselves and elevating ourselves as parents and educators all the time. Education never stops. We always have to seek the wisdom from our elders, from other brothers and sisters who are on the same journey. And so a lot of times we get to where we are and we want to educate our children, but we don't want to go any further. And a lot of times we want to go further and we're doing what we need to do, but we're not also passing that on to our children. So it's a disconnect on both sides. It's like, well, I want to learn about foods. I want to learn about essential oils. I want to learn about chakras. I want to learn. And so we're so embedded in it that it's like it's a sidebar from rearing our children. So it's making sure that everything is interconnected, you know, and as we grow, we can also see the light of the things that we didn't even see that is important.
Right.
You know, the more we grow, we're like, oh, wow, we got to make sure they get that information. And we have to examine our own lives as well, honestly. We have to really examine, you know, what are the things that have worked? What are the things that haven't worked? What are the things that are not working? And be honest with ourselves and say, you know, a lot of times we don't want to look at ourselves in that way as parents, but we also, you know, are coming out of our childhood in a sense.
Yes.
And we have to keep rebirthing ourselves, and it's not a reason to be hard on ourselves. And we have to understand that the construct and the context which we've been living in is such a huge factor of, you know, producing where we are, our mindset. And so when we take control of our minds, we're taking control of our children's minds and being able to provide them a better space and platform and situation for them to learn, you know, and be nourished in, nurtured in, all of that. And so there's no right or wrong in this. It's just about awakening and then acting upon what it is that we're seeing in our lives. So if it's a thing where, you know, some people might feel embarrassed, well, I've been dealing with social services, or, you know, my health is horrible, or whatever it might be, or my finances, my lights cut off. I mean, these are all real situations that we're dealing with. So a lot of times when I see, you know, there's a lot of our Black homeschooling organizations that solely focus on academics, and I feel like that does our people such a disservice, because, you know, it's not taking into consideration all the other things that are real. So even after academics, you go home, if your lights are off, if your water's off, if you're dealing with certain social situations, mental illness, you know, discipline issues, all these things are real. You know, so we have to, if we're not addressing all of these things, you know, the academics is great. And like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm treating it as a sidebar, because it is a focal point as well. But what I'm saying is when we're dealing with Black homeschooling or African-centered homeschooling, we are suffering from so much on all fronts. And if we can just get our hands around some of those made issues and connect with the right people, which is another thing that we do, is just try to point people in the area of various resources. You know, we do a lot of consultant work for people who want to start homeschooling, who want to start African-centered schools, just, you know, a host of things. And this definitely was not the plan initially. I guess it just divinely, after running a homeschool for 22 years, it just divinely, you know, evolved into that. And I love it. You know, I love it. I love being able to assist our people, our families, our children, you know, as I'm growing on my journey. And, you know, I tell people all the time, you're going to have your challenges, but you're also going to have your triumphs, and those are going to supersede all those challenges, and it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you wiser. It's going to make you feel better, and it's going to give you your story to share. And there's no story that's void of heartaches. There's no story that's void of pain. You know, we're talking about African people here and around the world. There's no story that's void of that. And so those are the things that are going to push you to your greatness, you know, to achieve even more by pushing through and not just sitting in those, you know, down moments. But look at them and, you know, make the declaration to make that change. Make the declaration to commit and dedicate your life to your children, to your family's generational wealth. Because if we all make that family commitment first, because our first nation is our home, our family. And so a lot of us want to go out in the community but don't focus on your family. So, you know, that's the first and foremost. If we all give that attention, then as things interconnect, as we interconnect with other families, it's just going to be more and more power, more and more strength. And that's the focus of the Expo this year, power and purpose, you know, doing things with a purpose to bring about our true power.
Absolutely. You know, listening to you, it's just like breathing for me, you know, to take in this information, you know, because myself, I feel like I'm always an educator. I don't care if my children are grown up. What can I put back into my community? What can I do for some younger children? What is it that I can do to make sure that they get what they need from me? I don't expect to be able to do it all, but I do expect to be able to do a part of it, whatever it is that I can do. And I think that our listeners need to know that you have a contribution that needs to be instilled and installed in our future generation. What that is, you won't know unless you tap into it. And Queen Taese was talking before about so much focus on academics. Yes, we know academics are important, but what kind of academics? You know, the academics that the children are receiving in public school, Christian school, whatever kind of school, are not those that support them in who they are. And you know how I can tell you this is because if you look at what is going on with athletes that have been cultivated around sports and so-called academics, you see them having so many problems dealing with this world, and that's because they don't know who they are. They haven't been taught who they are. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with football. Me personally, I think there is something wrong with football because I think that it's a sacrifice. I feel like you're sacrificing your young child for money because you're hoping that you're able to get them into this NFL situation or NBA situation. Therefore, you sacrifice their life for this money. Now, that is my interpretation of it all. But think about it. When they get into these sports arenas, they are not foundationally strong. That's why they get into these situations with these people who don't look like them. And I can really talk about that. I'm talking about these rape situations. I'm talking about this bad behavior that is, you know, we know that our black children is going to be amped up, whatever is going on. If it's a white child, they're not going to get that news, that situational news where they're looked at upon as a villain or a bad guy or a predator or whatever it is. So that all comes from not being foundationally centered. This is what this education does. This is what the focal point should be for our children. Like you said, before people even find their mate,
that's a great point.
That's
a great point. Because it's you know, we have to remember that it's a business. When we're dealing with, you know, sports and things like that, you're dealing with capitalism. And capitalism was not the way we did business. Capitalism has disrespect for the environment, has disrespect for people, anything to make a dollar. So you will sell any product, even if it's toxic, even if it's deadly. You will put anything into the environment if you can reap benefits on your side from a financial standpoint, but there's no responsibility to community. And when we talk about building African businesses, we talk about, you know, reciprocity of the environment, balance. When we talk about being in Ma'at, we're talking about not just, you know, looking to make a dollar, but is that dollar that you're making, is it helping to perpetuate the greatness of your community, the health and wellness of your community? And if it's not in some way, shape, or form, it's not something that we should be even participating in.
Not at all.
So, you know, that's a whole other way of looking at things. Right. And so a lot of our children, even in entrepreneurship, are being raised with capitalism. It's like, no, we have to look at how do we do business as a people. It was a respect and an honor to it. when we get into even all the marketing and all the things that come with capitalism, and yes, now being in this construct, certain things we have to we don't have to, but we participate in to a certain degree, but keeping in mind the purpose and the mission of it. So when we talk about marketing, that wasn't something that we really had to do. We were communal. So you respected so-and-so, they had good products, you know, you went to them. Same thing with you. You know, there was a lot of bartering, a lot of things that, you know, where we could work together communally and get all of our needs met. So things weren't just about the dollar bill and that's it. And we got to get, you know, everything, even with the music, is money, money, money. And, you know, all of these different values that are being overlooked that we have to instill in our children. And also, you know, there are a lot of secretive ways that these things are infused in. And that's another reason for, you know, the knowledge and the wisdom having to come forth of connecting with, you know, our brothers and sisters that have this information. So as we seek, a lot of people say, well, I don't know where I'm going to find that from. And so the more that we seek, the more the universe will open up to give you what you need. So at first, just, you know, taking that step in whatever it is you want to know, whatever it is you want to accomplish, whatever it is, you know, you want to see manifest in your life, you know, it's taking that step. And I know it's hard. I know it's challenging. Believe me. I've reared 7 children, and, you know, I've been through just relationships, and, you know, it's been a challenge along the way, and myself learning, finding the time, you know, a lot of times just being tired. But I have to say, loving what you do, when you are doing what you love, the energy really is infinite. You have your moments where you're exhausted, but that adrenaline never stops. You feel so good. And it's not work. True. It's not work. True. You can just keep on going and going and going, and more ideas, and the universe just keeps opening up. You know, it's a beautiful thing, you know, when you really are in alignment with what you do. And so that's the difference, is when you're in alignment with what you do, you know, there are no boundaries. It's an infinite situation. It just, you can't even imagine what will open up to you. And when you're in a situation where you're not controlling that, or you're not in alignment with that, then it's always a ceiling to it. It's always a ceiling. And, you know, so the thing is, you know, if you are in a situation where, and most of us are, you know, where we're working through breaking those boundaries down and, you know, or breaking through our own mental prison, you know, even with our children and the challenges. Yes. And even if you look at your own, for those of you who have multiple children, if you look at your own children and you can see, you know, with your younger ones, there's a lot of things you would not have done with the older ones. You know, you go, oh, gosh, I got to make sure I don't do that. You know, it's all a learning experience and a journey. And even for those who have children that are already grown and, you know, may have things that are just drama, because, you know, there's a lot of stuff we fixed in here. You know, there's things you can do with your grandchildren. There's things even you can continue to impart with your children, even if they don't know. You know, our meditations, all this stuff is very, very strong, and we underestimated our prayers, our meditation. All of this is strong. And when but it's not strong alone without the action. You know, we have to continue to, and the action may not just be doing those specific things. The action may be just, you know, putting the things and changing the things in your life and your outreach. Everything, all energy reverberates in the universe, and it all is karmic. You know what I mean? So it's like when you do what you're supposed to be doing at this point in time and space, you just never know how things come full circle, even with your children. You know, you hold them dear to heart, and you know, because we're dealing with, you know, generations and generations and generations of onslaught of our people, and you know, not even knowing how to get out of this. And now that so many are awakening to what we don't want, now it's, you know, it's piecing together what's best to change this. And that's a big journey. A lot of families, I get a lot of calls of families just totally don't want anything to do with their children because they're becoming vegetarian, or they're pulling their children out of school. They just totally oust them. Like, you're not a part of this family, you're crazy, something's wrong with you. You know, or you eat this way, you don't want to eat my food anymore. There's a lot of different scenarios, and a lot of that is because our family's unwillingness to grow. And so a lot of people succumb to that, and they say, well, let me just stay where I am so I can, stay within the midst. Doesn't mean you don't have to love your family, but at the same time, sometimes you gotta take a stance for things that you see that they might not. Doesn't mean don't listen to the wisdom. Doesn't mean don't sit at their feet of your elders and hear what they have to say. Definitely not, because they have a story to tell that is very valid. However, we also have to look at, taking a step out and fixing this thing. And a lot of times it means going against some of the things that have enslaved us, and a lot of the things that our family embraces. A lot of it. It might be religion, might be food, might be environment,
it might be all of
life. It might be all of them. So, so it's heavy because we talk about, family and support, and that's another thing. So many of us, we count on our family for support, and it should be that way. And a lot of times we may not get what we feel we need to get to move forward. And so if we know we need that support and we're not getting it from our family, we may have to seek it in other areas and things like that. So
you might have to
and
create
it's okay.
more family.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what is supposed to happen. We've gotten away from so many things. I'm telling you, we could be on this call for 6 days talking about the deficit. Seriously, because when you talk about one area, it's like a spider web. One area goes into so many different
all
things.
Interconnected. Yes.
They are so interconnected. And our people, let's talk about the religion part of it, okay?
Yes.
So one would hear you talking and say, oh, my gosh, she said karmetic, and that was completely off. Oh, she said yoga. She said meditation. I know I don't need to be a part of that type of thing. Well, that is a mindset. That is something that somebody else that is not of you taught you. And so even if you don't want to partake in those particular items or things, trust me, there's so much more. This is a rich environment that you need to be a part of. So why not partake of this for your children? I can tell you what the white man has given you definitely ain't working, okay? Because so many of your sons and daughters are just set out there. So many of your sons are caught up in this slavery, okay? So many of your children are lost and wayward because you have been caught up in the system of thinking that school, this regular school system, is what's good for you, and it's not. And, I can talk from personal experience. I tell people this all the time. You know what? I have 4 children. I can't wait to be a grandmother because I'm going to be the best grandmother that there is. When I tell you that, I feel it already,
Yes, you feel it in your soul, yes.
Listen, let me tell you, I don't know who these little people are, but I already have the most beautiful silver bracelet for my granddaughters. One is really tiny, and the other one is like a medium size. I'm like, I don't even know who these people are, but I already have a plan for them. I don't have anybody that has children yet. My son is not getting married until August, and again, I have 3 other children, but I don't know who these little people are, but I am planning for them, okay? I am embracing the opportunity to be a better grandparent than parent, okay? Because that is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be better at each stage, and I can't wait to give them what I have for them. And not just those children that are of me, also whatever children are around me. And that is the way that we need to think about it. We've gotten into this sphere where we can't reach out to each other or whatever. That is not a system that we have set up. That's a system that someone else has set up. We are supposed to reach out, help one another, and be, less burdensome. We're supposed to be helping one another. So I just say all that to our people listening, the biggest thing that you can take away from homeschool is who knows? But you won't know.
Exactly.
You won't know what that is until you come off of being embarrassed because you didn't graduate from 8th grade, being embarrassed because
that's right.
You weren't raised, being embarrassed because you're overweight, being embarrassed because You used to be on drugs, or you might be on drugs right now. But all those things are something that we can deal with as a community. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
So come off of that. Stop being embarrassed. You've been oppressed for too long. Stop oppressing yourself.
That's right.
Okay? This is a community ready to help. You know, I'm so excited. This will be my first time coming to the Expo, but I can tell that it is going to, yes, it is going to feed me well. I am going to be so equipped.
Oh, yes.
I get to meet you for the first time. I get to see Michael Imhotep again, and I get to talk to Ankh Aku. I've talked to him on the phone many times, and I just am so excited now. And we have to tell people on Blacks in Business Radio, of course, we deal with entrepreneurship. Now, we know that our children are set up to be entrepreneurs. Now, if you homeschool them, there is a 99% chance that they will want to be entrepreneurs because they will be doing things that they are not doing in regular school.
That's right.
Cause them to be business owners. Now, tell me about some of the children entrepreneurs that we have in the Liberated Minds.
We have so many. Some have come through. So many are still coming through. We have 3 young siblings coming this year. We have a company called Moki Pops. They have all-natural popsicles, and they've sold thousands and thousands of these popsicles. They've gotten awards here in Georgia. We have Sister Sadaya, who comes every year. She has her own shea butter line, and she does jewelry. My daughter does the handcrafted pillows with artwork on them. We've had, my oldest daughter has done a lot of the food preparation workshops from previous years. And she's been a caterer since she was 12, and she's won all kind of awards here, top Caribbean chef in Atlanta, just a lot of different things that she would not have been able to do had she not been homeschooled, being able to focus on the things that she liked. My son also will be participating this year, and he's come through with ACE, where he the organization that he was a part of since he was, he's 20-something now, so, I got to think back since he was like,
I'm like
13 or
93.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out now. Yeah, I think since he was like 13, but even with him, when we're looking at homeschooling, we're able to we noticed that he had a strong knack for the math and sciences that he loved, and we really were able to keep him in that, and be able to, he was able to get an internship set up by Baba. He set up an internship with him at the mechanic shop, a black-owned mechanic shop. So he did some time there in the summer, was able to really learn how to take engines apart, how to put them back together. By the time he was 16, he was, he started the aviation program at 13, which he realized that was all in alignment with working at the mechanic shop and the science and the math. And they teach, for the first few years, they just deal with the science and the math of it. So, you have math that you can apply. And so now, by the time he was 16, he was flying planes, and now that's what he's into, the aviation, the engineering. He's still, training. And it's like, and people go, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I'm like, you know what? This is our natural state of being when we're doing what we love, when we have the cultivation. These are the things that should be the everyday for all of our children. And we see so many of our children doing awesome things. Awesome things. They're just not publicized. They're not publicized. All we hear is all of the negativity of what our black children are doing. But we have some magnificent things, that are going on. I have another young brother this year who has his own book, and he's going to be there. And one of the things that we do really make sure that we put an emphasis on, especially in our Sankofa Scholars University, which is the 11 to 17-year-old, is we do a lot of workshops surrounding entrepreneurship. So this year we have Ankh Aku, who comes every year and works with them.
Yeah.
Baba Chika Akua. We have Muhammad Cannon. We have Brother Preach the Prophet from Entrepreneurs of Color magazine. And then they also have a robotics course. They have an art course. They have African history. So you're looking at, these youth that are coming together, even for a short weekend, that have the opportunity to bond with others, that come from all over. So these are connections that they, they exchange numbers and information, and they stay in touch throughout the year a lot of times. And a lot of times they all come back, especially a lot of the online educational institutes, which I also want to shout out, for Aya, for Fawa Hodie, for Maroon Life Learning. There's a lot of us who are now establishing online institutes, which I am a big fan of in the sense of complementary to your educational experience. So sometimes it may be a course you're looking for. Like I had a sister who was out in Iowa, and she's like, there's nothing out here. Said, wow, yeah, Iowa. Like, I'm just listening to her. I was just like, I get it. Like, I really get it. And so, I said, well, why don't you try some? I gave her some of the online institutions, and she was just, like, so grateful because she was able to connect with other Africans and, her daughter was able to take some courses that she would not have been able to take locally. And, of course, her mother felt like she was in a position she couldn't provide that information in those courses. And it's all right. We don't know everything, and no one knows everything. And so we don't have to feel bad like, well, I can't teach math. And, bottom line is when you're committed to it, you find every way possible. I hear a lot of parents say, well, I would homeschool, but I know it's better, but, and it's like if you start out with that mindset, we have to first deal with our mental state. Our mental state has to be winner, 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 winner. We've already won. The victory has already been won. And so when we look at it from that angle, that's it. There's no I can't. There's no how, it's more of how am I going to do this? And, finding the ways, doing your research. It's the same thing with anything that you're told. A lot of people, they want to disagree. It's like it's nothing to disagree. Do your own research. You're talking about spirituality. You're talking about religion. You're talking about academics. You're talking about all these different things. We are in the greatest time to be able to do research on all levels. I mean, with the internet, it has a double-edged sword, but at the same time, there is a greatness to it that allows us to tap into people from around the globe. Where if you really want to do your research, there are solutions everywhere you look. If you really want to stay stuck in where you are, then you're going to stay stuck in where you are. That's it.
Right.
So, it's just an amazing time for our greatness. It's an amazing time for our prosperity and our abundance. And it's all around us. We just don't see it because that eye has not been opened because we're not doing the work. And those who are doing the work can see that, we have everything we need. We're our greatest resource. We are our greatest. We have everything. A lot of the brothers and sisters, who are creating all the products we need, who are getting the training that we need, if it's on the spiritual level, to be able, look at that that's a stork. Beautiful stork just flew over. See, even something like that, just looking at the symbolism. I'm just standing outside. I'm like, a stork just flew beautiful. But then you go look up the stork, and what does the stork symbolize?
Right. What do you see?
Right over my head. Like, what's the probability of that? Let me go look it up. Let me see what are the spiritual meanings of that. Because this is the way we stayed in tune, and these are the ways. These are also ways that we receive our messages. These are just messages.
Wait, a stork represents like pregnancy.
It represents rebirth. Yes.
Okay.
Rebirth, life,
the
amongst
stork
other things. I'm sure if you look it up. Yes. Look it up. Spiritual meaning of the stork.
Right.
And so it just reminds you, these are the symbols around us that just remind us of what's going on with our lives. It affirms our greatness. Wow. It affirms the things that we need to look out for, watch out for, the things we need to pay more attention to. It's nothing spooky. It's nothing, like people get all like, well, I don't know if. This is nature. It's your natural environment. By us being outside in our natural environment, that's right. We have to know how to read the clouds, read the trees, read the animals. The animals told us when the storms were coming. It wasn't just looking at the clouds or when certain major happenings were going on. The leaves and the plants, give us all the healing we need right around us. We don't need to be running, getting no Robitussin. Everything we need is, if you see my yard, it is full. It is full of every plant you can think of. Literally. So it's like we have a lot of this stuff that we're running to get at the store. It's right here in our yard in its purest form. And we're like, wow, can we take it out of the yard? Can we use it? Because it's in the yard. And, it seems so taboo. Right. It seems so taboo, and it's and we're all learning on that. Sometimes I get like that.
You said this. You said about your yard, and you have everything in there that you need. Now, immediately, do you know where my mind went? But I know how to shoot it down. You know where my mind went?
Where?
This is where my mind went. All I have is 4 plants growing in Whole Foods organic containers. Wait a minute, but the thing is, it's not a competition. It's not a contest. It's about getting started. And getting started is having the mindset that I do need to grow something. So don't compare yourself against what somebody's doing. That makes no sense.
Oh, wait a minute, though. I'm not even talking about stuff that I'm growing. I'm talking about stuff that's naturally grown. I don't have a garden in my yard as much as I would like to.
Okay.
I'm talking about stuff that's just growing wild.
Okay.
So let me clarify. I'm talking about stuff that's just doing what it do.
Right.
I mean, we got dandelion, we got chicory, we got, I mean, I'm just saying, mugwort. We got all this stuff that's just doing what it do.
Wild. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
It's
See, I thought
doing exactly what it do. That's it. No, not even a garden.
That's a
I would like to
level of learning, though. I mean, we are really
whole another level
down here. Okay, well, I'm talking about a garden. You're talking about wild stuff. So we have.
But imagine that in a science. Imagine that in a science course with your children.
Oh my goodness! Just go outside.
Even if you don't know, because we have books, and we'll take the books, and the children will break it down. They will see what they can find. That's in our yard.
Or
draw pictures of it,
or collect it and go, like St. Louis here, there's a botanical garden. You could take those things and have a field trip and go to the botanical garden and discover what that is.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That becomes a homeschool lesson right there, just a life school.
There you go.
That's homeschool really is just, I break it down. I say all these words are really just propaganda. I mean, homeschool is really about taking the power of education into our own hands for our children, in keeping in mind the results we want to see, our results that we want to see.
You are,
and those results are very different. This is dealing with world view. Whose eyes are we looking through? Whose eyes are we, because even when we talk about history, even when we talk about math, people think, well, how can that be African-centered? How can it not? Like, we're the creators of math.
We created all.
But when you give all these Pythagoras and all of these, there were, they came and they studied with us. And you know what? They came and they got only one leg of the journey, because the different levels of study, most of them came and they studied only for that first cycle when they're 4, 5, and 6 cycles. So why would we big up their names? Because yes, that is it's dumbing our people down when we don't give the honest truth, even if we don't know.
Right.
Do your research. It's out there.
Because you only know what they taught you. You have to
teach
yourself. And in teaching yourself, it is that discovery. It is in talking to people. It is in asking. It is in Google. It is in Facebook. It is in so many things. But you definitely have the answers, and you have to throw
and
off.
watch how that changes your own life. I'm laughing. That's a whole other story. We were given some chickens the other day from another African-centered school, and so one of them was just chasing my little one. He's like, he's running in the grass. I'm like, what are you running for? So, but even doing that research, will change even us as parents and educators. It will deepen our passions. It will deepen our love for self. You know, so that's the beautiful thing, because when you're educating, you're also learning. It's reciprocal. And I find that so much when I work with my children. I go, wow. I'm like, wow, it connects the dots for myself as well.
Right.
With a lot of things as I'm working with them. And I have to also speak about this, which for me is very passionate, is just being so intimately involved with your children. Because we're so accustomed to just being away at work all day, and you see them when you get home for a little hour or two. You try to soak up that little bit of time.
TV.
That's what I'm saying.
And then opening the McDonald's bag and putting it down on the table.
There you go. But just having that intimacy, those laughs, the siblings, being able to just bond. Here they go through their little fighting spells. He get on my nerves. She's sitting too close to me, all of that. But at the same time, there's a bonding that's in that you cannot get anywhere else.
Well,
I can't even tell you the stories. I can't even tell you the story. I can't even tell you the stories of days when, oh gosh, the lights went out today, and we got candles, and we tell a story. And it's like those are the most powerful moments. Learn to use those moments to build and make you stronger, not to look down upon it. Say, oh gosh, well, we didn't have the money to pay this. And I mean, we have a whole journey of 20-something years to laugh about, to reflect on. I remember when this happened, but remember when that happened, and a lot of those happenings are just beautiful things. Beautiful things.
Say it's time to start building a journey. So let's go ahead and let the people know if they want to reach out to you personally to get more information. How would they do that? And then let's also tell them again when the event is, and they can also go on the website, but you let them know all the information so that they can feel comfortable in reaching out to you.
They can go to, of course, if you want more information about the Expo, it's www.liberatedmindsexpo.com. And, you can get all the information, the different presenters, the workshops. The full 3-day weekend, we start out with our meet and greet, which is all free vegan soul food on Friday evening. And then we just dive right into the weekend. That's going to be held at the House of Kemet, which is about 5 minutes from the venue. And then Saturday and Sunday will be at the Georgia Piedmont Technical College Conference Center. And that's about 10, 15 minutes outside of Atlanta. And that's a wonderful space. This is our second year doing it there. It really is like a family. Everyone's coining it now, the family reunion of African-centered education. That's what's been coming forth from everybody. So I said, what, let's call it that for real. So It really feels like that. It doesn't feel like a big convention. It feels nice. It just feels warm. It feels comforting, to be like amongst home. Our people. It feels like home, So my phone number is 678-368-8593. You can also go on to QueenTaese.com, which is QueenTaese.com, which also has information about a lot of the workshops that I do. I have a tour that I'm working on. I'm setting up dates for up and coming, but I also have a lot of touring that I'm doing throughout the country where other people are bringing me in to do speaking engagements and
I didn't even know about
things
this
like
thing.
that.
My goodness. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yes. So that is another, wonderful thing that I'm loving, being able to go different places and share this wonderful information of empowerment, and of change in our community. And then also, if you want to email me, you can email me at Liberated Minds, MINDS, Education, at yahoo.com, Liberated Minds Education spelled out, Liberated Minds Education at yahoo.com. And for those of you who want to join the email list is also what I would suggest, because we also have so much going on continuously throughout the year. You could either text the word liberated to, 22828 on your cell phone. So if you text the word liberated to 22828, it'll ask you for your email, and you can join the list that way, or you can go to Liberated Minds Expo website, and there's a place on there to join the email list. And we will have, too, because a lot of people ask, we will have Beano and Fino again there this year for the children. It really was for the children. It turned into for the families, but it's an African animation. For those who don't know, you can go to Beano and Fino on YouTube and check them out, or you can go to BeanoandFinoShop.com, who I also work with them in Nigeria, helping to get the word out about some positive, if we're going to do the television thing, we got to make sure the images are in alignment. So, that's a wonderful African animation, teaches about African history and, different things that children need to know up and coming. And so we will have them live. We'll have the live mascots there. Again, this year we do a screening of a lot of the episodes and some activities, and then the mascots are there, and the children had a ball last year. The adults really were even more involved than the children. It was so funny. We just all had a ball, because it was nice not to have to do the Mickey Mouses and the Big Birds and the the Disney princesses, everything that doesn't look like us. It was nice just to have a representation of, a male and a female, brother and a sister, that look like us, awesome characters. And the children, a lot of them knew about Beano and Fino, a lot of them didn't. So it was a great introduction to something new, different, and fun. Stop, Netaru. So just have to go into mommy mode for a second. So I guess that's our wind down time. But yeah, anytime, I do consultant work. So even just, breaking through these barriers, we need that support. And sometimes just how to get started, things always sound so simple. And a lot of times I even tell people when you're at the expo and you're motivated and you're feeling great, and then you go home and you still got to balance that out with everything that's real and in front of you. So it's, having that ongoing support.
Well,
even having that ongoing support.
I have something for that. It does get a little bit overwhelming. Like, there's all these things that you want to do and you want to provide for your family, but you're like, gosh, but I have to work, and I know I need to work myself off of this job and go into entrepreneurship. Well, it's all very possible. I was in conversation with a young lady named Keisha Mabry. Yes. She wrote a book called Hey Friend, okay? So I asked her, I said, Keisha, well, how did you get all this done? Because she was working a job. She was a school teacher and all this other stuff. She said, what I did was I got up a few hours or an hour earlier than what I needed to normally get up because I wanted to give myself the best of the day to work on my project. Because if I waited until the end of the day, then I would give myself like nothing. I'd be depleted. So whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to have to give yourself the best of the day. You're going to have to get up earlier in order to accomplish this. And it may take a while, but it's okay because you're giving yourself your best and you deserve it. It is an oxymoron for you to be trying to do something and not give yourself your best. So I would say do that.
It's true. It's true. And that's the only time I can really work. I have to get up before they get up in the rising.
Yes.
Because I can get more done in those, say, even if it's 2 hours before they get up, then I can try to get done all day or in the evening. So that's my time. And it's amazing. You'll be surprised. And it does take, this does take change. It does take adjustment. It does take a lot of the things that, are kind of grueling at first. Well, I don't like getting up earlier. Or even if you stay up later, whatever works for your situation.
Right.
It takes change. And so you have to be committed to the change, and you got to have support. You got to have your cheerleaders. You got to have those that say, come on, sis, come on, brother. Yeah, we got to do this, and have fun in it. Enjoy it.
Right.
Because with that change is going to come the prosperity that you look for. A lot of times we ask for all the prosperity and abundance, and then things start coming and getting hectic, and we want to complain about it. And I'm like, every time I find myself going in the, don't complain. Okay, this is part of the process of getting to where you need to be. So you're just going to find a way to make it work, adjust, where needed, and that's it. And then you're gonna move into your greatness, even on a higher level. So many levels of our greatness. It's time. It's time.
It is. It is definitely time. And, Queen, I do not want to keep you here all day because we were like, we're going to do 30 minutes. We have not been on here just 30 minutes. And I know that you have to get to Netaru because I hear him.
You hear him over there.
And all kinds of stuff. So I want to make sure that you're able to provide everything that your family needs. So we're going to definitely look forward to talking to you again. I look forward to seeing you at the Expo. If anyone is interested and you, for some reason, don't have it, go to her website, Liberated Minds. Just Google it, Liberated Minds Expo. If you forget all the details, Liberated Minds, you can remember that, okay? It'll come up for you. But, Queen, we're going to let you go, and we will talk to you again really soon, okay? You have a wonderful day, all right?
You too. Okay. Much love and liberation to you and your family as well. And for those who are listening, I give gratitude and honor for being able to share with you, and I appreciate you, and I receive your energy, I should say, not energy, but your energy, coming this way also. So I give thanks, and we will talk soon.
I appreciate you appreciating my energy. Okay, we will talk again really soon, probably today. Okay.
All right.
Have a great day.
Awesome. All right, you too. Okay.
Be blessed. Okay, everybody. That was Queen Taese of Liberated Minds. I'm just so excited about this opportunity. I mean, if you know me and if you've been listening to our radio program, you know that my passion is children. I want my passion to be the whole family. And that is, when I was doing childcare, you know, I feel like I was a little social worker. You know, whatever people needed, then I provided, like for the family. If it was something that they were lacking, I made sure that they had it. And the only way that we're going to grow our communities is by being communal. You know, we've gotten away, like I was talking about before, that whole idea of it takes a village to raise a child. You know, people say that, but I don't see a whole lot of people being that village. This is an opportunity for you to regain being that village. Our children are hurting. I talk about my son. You know, it hurt me for 2 years that my son was incarcerated. He's still there. He's going to get out this upcoming month. But what is the foundation of that? We know that there's white supremacy. We know that there's racism. We know that there's a prison slave trade on the stock market. But what can we do to circumvent those situations? We know that they're there. But what if we could provide a strong foundation? What if we wrapped ourselves around our family fully so we're not dealing with these situational things? You know, this is Blacks in Business Radio, and you want to talk about business, but you can't get to the business if you're not dealing with the business of your home. You can't provide what your children need by not providing what your children need. And for so long, we've looked to other people's way of raising children and other people's idea about how our children should be raised. And like I talked about before, there's so many webs that all these things go into. When you put your children into these fake education systems, what happens? If you watch and if you are honest with yourself, you can see what happens. You are probably sending an excited, exuberant, lively, wonderful child into school. And you're thinking that kindergarten is going to be the best thing that happens to him or her. But I'm going to tell you what happens to him or her. They start feeding you soup about something being wrong with your child because they, quote, can't sit down. I can't sit down, and I'm 42. How old am I? 43, 42 years old. I can't sit down in a chair that long. Why do we expect children to be able to do that? Why do we expect children to be these types of learners that are just so, I don't know, entrapped? I don't even know what the word is. But children are supposed to be lively and energetic and thriving. I mean, and have they tapped into the way that our children learn? Absolutely not. And you know what? I'll say this. I know teachers initially, they probably get into the work because they love children and they like working with children and they want to help nurture them and help them grow. But eventually that dissipates because the system of school is not set up for that to happen. The system of school is set up to tear the child down and set them up for that slavery, aka prison. Okay? So this is some serious stuff that we're talking about. Again, you can't get to doing business if you're not handling the business within your home. You know, within your home, you need to be teaching your children about doing something for themselves, about entrepreneurship. You know, and it's not what you think. It's not what they taught you. It's definitely something else. And when you can recreate what that is and what that's going to look like for you as an individual, you can move forward in greatness. But you can't do that if you can't come out of that mindset that they put you in. Your children deserve more, and you deserve more. So I would suggest that if you can't go to the Liberated Minds Home School Expo this year, I would suggest that you reach out to Queen Taese and you start making preparation for that next year. But even if you can't go, you can still tap into the information. The guest speakers are all over the internet. You can reach out to them. You can get the information that you need to start homeschooling your children, to start entrepreneurship. If you're still walking in fear and you can't see yourself snatching them out of school and you're scared of child protective services and all this stuff, we have something for that. The information is there. Trust me. People have dealt with this time and time again. But if you're not ready to actually take them out of school, what are you doing for them when they get out of school? What are you teaching them? How are you undoing what has been taught? That seems kind of crazy to have to undo what is taught. But if they're still in the public school system, unfortunately, that's what you're going to have to do, because they're teaching your children that they are nothing and that they are everything, when in fact we created this world. Okay? So, I'm talking real serious to everybody today, because if we don't build up our children, we have no hope. And by looking and seeing what we are dealing with today with our children, and I'm talking about me personally, I have seen some things, that our children have gone through that are totally unnecessary. But if we wrap ourselves around them early and just wrangle them in and totally nurture them as a person, then some of these things won't be happening. But we have to get out of ourselves. We have to get out of what we've been taught, and we have to operate in love toward our children. And operating in love means throwing off a lot of those ways that you were raised, because your parents didn't really know what was best all the time. God bless them. I'm not talking about parents in a bad way, but really they just handed down what was given to them. And why would you want to do that to your children? It's time to stop living in regret and just turn some things around. Even in your adult children, if you better yourself, then the hope is that they will see that and want to better themselves. You are always their example. And when your grandchildren come along, what if you could influence their parents in making that choice into homeschooling? You have influence. You definitely do. It's never too late. And even if you don't have children or grandchildren, how can you be a part of this village that needs to be raised up, that needs to be taught differently? That's you. I'm talking to you. You do have something to give. I don't care if you didn't graduate from 8th grade. I don't care if you don't know math, or like my mom used to say, that's that new math. I'm like, what does that mean? I still need help, lady. But you have something to contribute. Even if you are contributing to a contributor, you have some way of reaching out and helping our youth, okay? So seriously, like I said, I'm so excited to be going to this event, because I want to know where it is that I can help. Where can I volunteer? Who is it that needs my assistance? Somebody definitely needs your assistance. Now, whether you're willing to give it or not, that's a different story. It's time to be unselfish so that our future generations can get exactly what they need. Okay, so again, you've been listening to Blacks in Business Radio. This is all about business. Queen Taese, we're going to have her come on again and talk about what it is that she's doing as far as like her own website. I didn't even know she had that. That must be something kind of new. But we're going to have her come on and talk about that. But this business, she created it. She's the CEO of this whole Liberated Minds. So I'm so proud of her. She's been doing it for over 20 years now, and she is still full of energy and full of information. So definitely reach out to her. And if you forgot all the information, just go to the website, Liberated Minds. But you've been listening to Blacks in Business Radio on Black Talk Radio Network. Please support the Black Talk Media Project. What we're going to do right now is take a little break, and we're going to be back, okay? But think about everything that I said. If you need help, reach out to us. We are blacksinbusiness@gmail.com, and we will definitely steer you in the right direction for entrepreneurship for you, your children, and anybody else that, you think that can use our help. But all right, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back after these messages.
2008, the Black Talk Media Project launched the digital radio platform Black Talk Radio Network, the first such platform created to serve the Black community specifically. Black Talk Radio Network has grown with a variety of radio hosts, digital radio stations, and podcasters. Web analytics say Black Talk Radio, the platform, has an online reach that ranks it among the top independent Black media platforms in the world. All of this is possible because of financial contributions to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. If you love the work we do and the voices and perspectives we bring to you every day, make a donation today to ensure that Black Talk Radio is here in the future. Black Talk Radio is new Black media for the new millennium.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Blacks in Business Radio. All right, so we are in the second half of our show, and this, of course, is July the 6th, 2017. I'm going to turn my fan off. It's kind of hot here in St. Louis, Missouri, but that doesn't mean you all have to hear the fan noise, so I'm going to turn it off. Now, that was the first part of our show with Queen Taese of Liberated Minds. I hope you all can join us there, July 14th through the 16th. I'm so excited. I don't want to talk about it long because that was a very long segment. She and I were talking. Of course, it was pre-recorded. We were talking because we're friends in real life. But again, I'm just so proud of the event and its accomplishments and the speakers that are available for this event. So you all can grow with us, stay connected, and we will help you do what you need to do concerning Black homeschool. Your children need to be homeschooled. All right? So get in contact with her or us. Thank you again for listening to us here. This is Blacks in Business Radio. We're here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if we go backwards to Pacific Standard Time, which would be like Seattle, that would be 5 p.m. Alaska time, I don't know. I should be shouting out to those people too, since that's where I'm from, but I don't know right now. Yes, please remember to support Black Talk Media Project.org. This network is who makes it all possible, and we just appreciate all that the network does, especially Scotty Reed. Thank you, Scotty. And we want to thank you all for joining us today again, especially our guest that we have on the line. Guest, if you would like to speak, you can. I see that you're chatting. You can definitely press the ** and you can get in on our conversation if you like. Feel free to do so. We welcome that. Let's see here. Now, today, I remember telling you all last week that I wanted to start doing news. You know, generally news is done at the top of the first hour, but, you know, we kind of do what we want. So today I'm going to go to some news that was introduced to me, well, a news medium, blacknews.com. This is an internet news platform here. And we're going to look at some of the stories there because they got some great entrepreneurial news there. I think I'm being joined by my co-host. Hello, Robert. Do we have you there?
Yes, I am here.
Wonderful. How are you doing today?
Oh, man, just sitting back, relaxing, just kind of had a little water on me. Been working all day. Everything's great.
Okay, well, that is super good to hear. Well, I was just going over the information with our listeners. I did send you a link to some news stories that we're going to look at. Did you see that in your text message?
Actually, I didn't. Hold on. Let me go there and view that.
Okay. Well, I mean, not a big freak out deal. I just sent it to you because I was telling our listening audience that I got a hold of something called blacknews.com, and they deal with entrepreneurial stories. And I said we would kind of go over some of those stories today, along with, we're going to talk about money that you've been leaving on the table, people. There's some things going on that we don't know about, as usual, you know, because people don't like to tell us. We got to do all this research. But that's what we're here for you. But meanwhile, let's get back to the news. So blacknews.com has reported several things concerning entrepreneurs. But the one that stood out for me, because it's a little bit personal, it says, woman opens first ever Black-owned grocery store in Compton. So this is about 36-year-old Kia Patterson, the owner of the first ever Black-owned grocery store in Compton, California. She is an independent owner of a grocery outlet franchise. Now, that grocery outlet franchise, that's something I wanted to do. But of course, we let hoops and obstacles get in our way, and we just kind of drop the issue and just don't even do anything with it. But I'm still interested. I would love to have this lady, Kia Patterson, on the show. What do you think about that, Robert?
Yeah, I'm looking at a story right now. That is definitely, this is a great site.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really great site because, you know, we have a BIB News page on Facebook audience, and you can go there, and we try to, you know, a lot of people post all kind of stuff on that page, and I go right in and I delete it all out. We want to only post news, and looking at this blacknews.com, it is exactly what we want to have on that page, because these are some very inspiring stories that I'm, you know, just going over in terms of what's happening with Black entrepreneurs and that type of thing here. But this story about the woman, this is up the first ever Black-owned grocery store, man, that's pretty huge there.
That really is in Compton.
Yeah, I'm actually going into the page right now. That is blackbusiness.org. Yeah, it's a blog.
You're right, blackbusiness.org. Right, and so let's read some of the story here. Actually, I mean, again, this is like great. I hope we can actually go to her store. We were just in California. Too bad we didn't know about it, because we definitely could have went to Compton and visited her store, but we'll save that for another time. So let's see. It says how she got into the business. Kia had already worked for another grocery chain for 17 years when she was recruited by Grocery Outlet to help them with their goal of expanding their chain by adding 100 stores in Southern California. Now, in the application process, they do want you to have worked in the grocery industry, but you know, that could be kind of finagled. You know what I'm saying? You word things how you have to word them. Like if you're in retail, you can make that work. I mean, I don't doubt that. But if I'm not mistaken, you have to have $10,000 up front, which is still not a lot of money. Let's just say you have $10,000 laying around. Okay, you're ready. But what about if you did a little group economics with either people in your family or some other interested parties that would like to open a grocery store? And it says, when the opportunity was presented to her, she started the training process, gathered her investments, and set up a business plan. The next thing she knew, she was the owner of her own grocery store. And then it says, not just any kind of food. Now, this is the part that really gets me. Okay, it says, Kia's goal is to bring more organic food options to people at more affordable prices. This was important to her because she has seen firsthand the health issues that plague African Americans and how difficult it is for people who live in low-income communities to get access to fresh produce at prices they can afford to pay. She told the Los Angeles Sentinel, the prices of our organic groceries are much cheaper than most grocery stores. The major American brands are also 40 to 60% cheaper. You can come here and get quality food for great prices. And this is a true story because in Washington State, they do have grocery outlets all around. Now, at first I was a little snobby and snooty. I think this is when I had money, for real. But no, kidding. But when I first noticed grocery outlet, I went in and it seemed like some things were kind of expired. Like you would find cans of food that were old. And, you know, when you show me that kind of thing, I'm walking out because I'm not going to feed my children old food. So I never went back. But then as my economics changed a little bit, I started shopping around and I started going to the grocery outlet. And I was pleasantly surprised at the different things that they had that were organic. It would kind of remind you a little bit of Aldi here. You know, when we think of, I wouldn't be surprised if them and Aldi were partners, but in St. Louis. Yes, it reminds me of Aldi because they have name brand things in there. It's like overstock from some other like big grocery stores, like maybe Whole Foods and Costco and all that. But very decent prices in there, and you can find organic food. So it's a good place to shop. So I'm very happy that she was able to open this grocery store. We would love to get her on, and it says we can follow them on Facebook, but I'll do my private eye work and I will get a hold of her and see if we can get her on the show. Robert, what do you think about that?
Well, I would love to have her on the show, especially headed in the direction that we are already on the road to, which is, we have a grocery store that we just started ourselves, and on a, I hate to use the term small scale because it's not really a small scale when your vision is big.
All that work, that is not small scale. I'm sorry. That is not small.
Exactly.
No, it's big scale. Absolutely.
So I definitely want to be able to talk to her, and I always, this movie that's in my mind that's been out for a long time now. It's called The Field of Dreams. Are you familiar with that movie?
Is that a baseball movie?
Yeah. And one of the key points in that movie that I took away from it, he said, "If you build it, they'll come." And that just stood out so much for me in business, because I said, if you put it together, if you use the vision that God gives you and you put it together in order, they're going to come. If you create an environment sort of like what the lady did in Compton, where the prices are very, very affordable. All your prices, all the products are very, very good products. When you can do that, then you already won. You have a winning formula. And that's my vision. I want organic vegetables. That's what we eat, organic vegetables. I want organic products at the prices that we charge for Dove soap. If we can get organic products, body washes, and charge them the price that we charge for Dove soap, or that the stores charge for Dove soap. Most stores are charging like $6.99 for a bottle of Dove. Well, organic stuff, we can get that and sell it for $6.99. There are some products out there that's organic that we can sell and have on the shelves for $6.99. So that is the goal for me with Bucket's Grocery Store and Wholesale. We can offer, that was a very good concept that's giving back, what she just did, that's giving back to the community, that's being concerned with the community. Every day we're at our business, we're selling this product to our people, and our people are so lack of, I'm going to say, are such in a lack of knowledge state that they don't care about what is going on them. They don't care about what is going in them. And I say they, and I'm going to break that down in percentages. I'm going to say 85% don't care. You have a very small percent of people that are more conscious about organic foods or alkaline water, that type of thing. But the majority of our people are more economically aware. They're basing their shopping habits off of their economics. And this is why, as entrepreneurs, especially those of us who are beyond the point of just breathing while in motion, that's my definition of consciousness, So, but those of us who are beyond that consciousness level to where we're actually doing the things that we know we should be doing, those of us should be striving to do better with the knowledge that we have. A lot of people have knowledge and they just sitting on it, and they can have good conversation and not do anything, and steady go and clock in on the job or whatever and be like scientists. But what is it all for? Is it for dialogue? Is it, and mainly that's what it's for. Should it be for the betterment of our communities and of our people? That's what it should be for. So those of us who are entrepreneurs that have that higher knowledge of organic foods and organic products need to really be striving to get those products, put them in our stores, and sell them to our people. And you still can make good profit, because if you set your business up properly, you can make good profit. If your overhead is low, if your spending habits is low, you don't have the going out to the party, to the club habit. You don't have the I want it fresh off the assembly line, brand new car. If you don't have the everything I gotta have name brand on it. If you don't have those type of vices, alcohol, drugs, women, gambling, then you can be very successful in business, because your overhead can be very low and your products can be very good and healthy, and you can sell them to our people and still make money. So this is what we're striving to do. So I'm impressed with the lady in Compton, though.
Well, that's wonderful. So why don't we do this? Take our last break for this last half hour. You're listening to BIB Radio on Black Talk Radio Network. We'll be back after these messages.
Okay.
Black Talk Radio since 2008, providing new black media for the masses.
Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so very much for joining us for this last half hour on Blacks in Business Radio. Yep, I am SiSi Harry, and you are joined by myself and Brother Robert, 11X. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have had a very dynamic show today. I'm super excited again about the Liberated Minds Conference. And I also have to tell you all, I just looked at something. I don't even know where I was, but there, along with the Liberated Minds Conference, there's a conference in Atlanta also called Death by Medicine. David Wren of Tando Radio Show talked about this book, Medicine. Basically, the truth about healing cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and all other maladies affecting humanity. Talking about how the medical industry is a liar. But guess what? This conference is going to be the 15th of July. Let's see. Let me look up. Yep, July 15th. They have Keisha Harris, Dr. Be Serious, who was actually in the documentary called Urban Kryptonite, which Robert and I just viewed and listened to. Then Dr. Whitaker. Let's see, Curtis Duncan, Jamala Bowman, and Chef Aki. Oh, I'm going to go meet Chef Aki. I can't believe it. I'm going to have to take a break from the Liberated Minds Conference and go meet Chef Aki and get a book and have her sign it. I'm so excited. So if you all can make it to those conferences, you will be doing good, all right? So, it's so funny because as I was looking up the information, I was like, oh, I know it's not going to be the same time I'm in Atlanta. And bam, it is there. So I'm excited about that. So the last, the last few minutes of the show, what we want to talk about is found money. Now, this has been around for a while, where there's a website called foundmoney.com where you can actually go and look and see if you are you're missing some money. Like if you paid a deposit on a utility bill and they didn't give it back to you, or you had a deposit from old like rental something. I mean, just basically money that somebody forgot to give you back or you forgot to get it. See, that's not me. I looked my name up, but there was nothing found because I believe in getting all my money back. Like even when I moved from Seattle to St. Louis last year, I contacted that utility company. They were holding on to my $100, but I made sure they sent it to me. I mean, they played a little game, but I made sure. You know, I'm very diligent about that. I know if I have to pay deposits, I need my money back. But yeah, so sometimes you have forgotten about those things. Sometimes there's money left in a bank account that, you know, you no longer use or it closed or whatever. Those funds are still yours. So that site, foundmoney.com, is one of them. But we're going to go into a clip. I believe this is Susie Orman. I don't love her, but, I mean, it's information. So we're going to go ahead and listen to this. Let me see. Are we going to listen to Susie Orman? No, we're going to listen to... Yeah, let's listen to Susie Orman because she's more reputable. So let's listen to that.
And here she is now, America's most trusted personal finance expert, Susie Orman.
Some of you have money that the state has. Could that be you? Maybe yes, maybe no. Some of you may have hidden treasures in terms of the jewelry that you're wearing. Some of you may just have a hidden treasure in finding your own self-worth. So that is what we are going to focus upon tonight. And we are going to start with a woman by the name of Mary Pittman. She's known, by the way, as the Missing Money Lady. And she contacted me to tell me that she found money in my name. She found a few $1,000s in my name, quite a few. So I thought, anybody who could find money for Susie Orman, she's good enough to find money for you. Mary, where are you? Come up here, girlfriend. How do you do what you do? It started out when one of the nurses I work with told me about the site, and I thought, you are so gullible. There is no way this is real. I had a little bit of egg on my face when I found 2 listings for my father, who died in 2001. I filled out the paperwork, waited about 5 weeks, and got a check for $2,550.79. I became a believer. Then what? You became obsessed with it. I did. It's so much fun. I know it's far better finding money than losing it, right? Yes. And if Susie Orman could have missing money, Susie Orman's viewers could have missing money too. So now why would Susie Orman have missing money? Because I moved on from my old addresses, from my office. They did not bother to try to find me. I don't think it is very difficult to find Susie Orman. Do you? But they didn't want to find me. Because if they don't find me, eventually what happens to that money? The money gets turned over to the state and held indefinitely until you claim it. All right? So they don't necessarily want it because they're making the interest on that money. Not that it's that much anymore, but there are reasons why they don't really want to find people. All right? So based on the information that this woman here, Mary, found, we have 3 people in this audience that we have found money for. Where is Karen Seymour? So, Karen, what do you do?
I'm an enrolled agent.
An enrolled agent means she does taxes. She deals with people's money in terms of taxes. She is responsible for every single number, for every single dollar, right?
Absolutely.
Karen, based on the information that we found, Mary found for you how much?
$1,709. I'll take anything anybody wants to give me.
Me too. All right. Our next person is, may you read? Did I say that correctly? Clint Powers, stand up. So may you.
How about you cry for me?
I will let Mary tell you. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. May you read. Based on the information we believe we have found for you, say it, Mary. $2,273.13. Our last one is Nancy Baxter. Where are you, Nancy? Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Excellent.
So, are you ready for this one? I know you're here, so you obviously have a feeling that we found some money for you. Nance lost track somehow of some stock that she got when her father died. It had both of their names on it. Have you recently applied for this?
I haven't applied for it.
How much do you think it's worth?
That's a really good question. It probably depends on the share price.
Guess what? You have 1,860 shares of this stock. In today's prices, that is $66,048.
Fantastic.
Oh, my gosh. Now, if that does not make you excited to look up the information, I don't know what else to tell you. But it's simple, everybody. This is not a gimmick or a scam. It's money that's been left on the table for you. So what I did was I simply went to Google because, again, I've known about this for a while. So you want to do it in your state. Now, there is no centralized location for finding money. So you want to go off of your state. So you could type in State Treasury of Missouri unclaimed money. Just type that in. Whatever your state is, just type that in. So let's say, I'll just say unclaimed money, Missouri. Okay. So, when you start doing this, you go ahead and you start typing in everybody's name and you find money for your friends. Now, I've done that. I found some money for a couple people in Washington. And, this could actually be a business for you. Okay. So if you want to do this as a business, all you have to do is tell people, hey, I found some money for you. And if you want to hire me to do the legwork, I'll do it. I mean, it's just simply filling out the documents and getting their information, but you could definitely do that. And don't charge them a whole lot of money because it's very easy. They could do it themselves, but people don't have time. They're working jobs. So let's see here. So Robert, are you there, Robert? I don't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I typed that in for Missouri. Missouri State Treasurer Eric Schmidt. So I actually heard Eric Schmidt on the radio talking about this. So when you type in, what did I type in Google? I typed in unclaimed, find your unclaimed property, Missouri State Treasurer. So then I click on that link, okay? When I click on that link, then I'm at the home page, and it's talking about the State Treasurer office. But then I'm looking for my category, and there's the category. It says unclaimed property. So I'm going to share this with you, Robert, so you can look and see what I'm seeing. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So it says unclaimed property, Missouri's largest lost and found. So that's definitely where you want to be if you're in Missouri. And again, there is no specific place to do this. So you could Google your own state, all right? So, okay, it tells you the steps here. Find your property with 3 simple steps. It says, number 1, search the online unclaimed property database for your name. So all you do is type your name into the search engine and follow the instructions. Number 2, if you find a match, select file a claim and follow these easy steps to complete it. Number 3, receive your unclaimed property. How exciting is that? So what we're going to do is we will type in Robert's name, because I already did this, and he has money. Let's see here. So now we'll do the search. Okay, so when you do the search, you'll find the person's name and the address that they were under before. Now, when I look at Robert's name, it says that he has over $50 because he used to live at 3301 California in St. Louis, Missouri. So all he has to do is follow the steps in claiming that money. But I see Robert's name here several times. Now, we know that of course, he may have lived in several addresses, so that may be him too. But it might be his dad. It might be his grandfather. No matter. If that's somebody in your family, like if you're a junior or you're the third, you can still go about the process for those people in your family, especially if they're passed away. I mean, you could inform them that this is going on, and you could, again, do the process for them and, get paid. So it's very simple, people, and they have all the steps here in how to file the claim. But again, all you do is type in unclaimed money and your state in Google. Then that will pop up. Right here, we're at the state treasurer, so very simple. What do you think about that, Robert?
I'm actually trying to type my name in here right now.
Your name is on here several times. I mean, let's see. You lived in California. Did you live at rural Route 4?
Is there a picture of that guy?
No, there wouldn't be a picture.
Does it say
no. This is probably not you because it's in Salem, Missouri.
How much money you owe? How much money?
It's only $1 in that one. But then you have another one. You have 47 cents coming back to you.
Wait a minute now. They said your search for Robert A. Minor returned 0 results.
Well, you didn't have to put the A. Just put is it last name first? I think you're gonna put the last name. Yep, last name first and then the first name.
It pays to read, don't it?
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it happens. But you have a couple for California. You got one for 47 cents, one for over $50. Did you live on Waterman Boulevard?
Oh, I'm in that now. Waterman, that's probably my father. Waterman that's maybe my grandfather. Waterman. Yeah, that could be my grandfather.
Well, you claim his money too. 40 cents. Woohoo. Let's see. Who lived on Washington?
Maybe my father.
Okay. Well, you got some information to share with him, but there's 19 hits on this.
On Robert Minor?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you... Okay. Oh, I see now. I have to... Over $50. That's Robert Minor. On California, over $50. We need to investigate that. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to go on here and do this thing.
Right.
Let's see number 2.
I see Robert A. the third. That's your dad, right? So he's got over $50. Another one on Washington, $2.10. And it sounds like nothing, people, but something is better than nothing. You know what I mean? Go ahead and claim your money. Put it to the side. I mean, come on now. Just go ahead and claim that money. I'm telling you, this is excellent. I wish my name was in here, but then, like I said, I know when I put a deposit down somewhere, I get the money back. So, definitely. Let's see. Who's Sherry Price Minor? Robert, that's not you, because this is Robert Minor E. That's somebody else.
That's not me. Robert E. Minor. Whoa.
Yeah, these other minors, I don't think these are you because the initial is something different. But yeah, people, why leave that money on the table for the government to have? You shouldn't do that. And look up your loved one's information because you never know. It might be something there for them also. But I know the other site, if you don't feel like Googling for whatever reason, you can go to foundmoney.com. That's the one Oprah was talking about. But again, all you have to do is say unclaimed money and then put your state in there for Google and you'll be in there. Don't leave the money on the table.
Right. It's worth you getting it. Who doesn't need some more money?
Yeah. Who doesn't need some more money? Especially in these economic times. If you don't need that money or you don't think it's anything, put it to the side for starting your business. I know there's many people that listen. you guys still haven't started your business, you're still trying to figure it out, put the money to the side for that reason, even if it's $2.49. You never know. That might buy you a pack of pens or something that you need. Do something with it. Okay, send the money to Black Talk Radio Network. How about that? Donate it for this wonderful network that is providing you all this great information. Well, everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to say our last words here again for July 6th, 2017. Robert, do you have any last words for the people?
Well, let's see. Today's date is what, the 6th?
Yes, it is.
Let's see. We'll be back on next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be the 13th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good people on the radio, to the radio listening audience, I just want to make this announcement. I am headed to, God willing, in another 6 days, I will actually turn 52 years old. And God knows I don't even feel that. I don't even know what that's supposed to feel like. I know I feel great. My diet is really good. My mind is clear and getting better. My thinking is stronger. I'm so blessed, and I thank God every day for allowing me to be able to look at myself in the mirror, as Michael Jackson said.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Go ahead. I was trying to give you some hand claps for your birthday. There's a hand clap.
So I'm just so thankful that all has happened in the last 2 years. There have been some things that happened that really has hit my heart and made my heart heavy. But at the same time, I'm grateful for my mother, my father. Actually, me and my father are actually going out for dinner for the very first time ever. So, and that's going to be on my birthday. So it's a lot of good things that are happening. And, again, there's a lot of other things I don't want to get into, but, I thank God for them all. They all are learning lessons. I thank God for everybody that I've been able to come in contact with physically or through this radio, and I pray that you all have benefited in some kind of way with what God has put in my mind to share with the world with BIB Blacks in Business. Thank God for SiSi coming along with her radio experience and actually making something that I said to her a reality, BIB Radio. I am so very grateful and so very thankful and so very humble, and I just pray that everybody that hears this can actually benefit from us doing what we do. We are here to help you. We're here to serve you. We're here to aid and assist you to success. BIB Blacks in Business, BIB Radio, we're going to be around for a long time, God willing. So thank you.
Well, all right. Well, we are excited to go into the next year of life with you because that's what we do here. We support each other, and we do what we do. Now, next week, what we want to talk about is the trade show coming up because there is one coming up this month, right?
Yeah, it's the ASD trade show at the end of July in Las Vegas. General Merchandise Trade Show is what it's called. It's the ASD General Merchandise Trade Show. And then in the middle of August, for all those who are in the fashion industry, a must-attend show. It is the Magic Clothing Trade Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. A must-attend. All the who's who in the music industry that is attached to fashion will be there. All the who's who in the movie industry, entertainment industry that's attached to any type of clothing design or line will be there. If you're here local or wherever you are hearing this recorded message, you should be there too if you're attached to the clothing industry. So it's the Magic Clothing Show. That's in the middle of August. I think it's August 18th through the 21st. And the ASD show is July 31st through August 3rd, and I could be off by a day, but I'm almost pretty sure I'm accurate with those dates. You can get on Google and Google it for your own knowledge reference. So definitely attend those 2 trade shows. We'll in the future bring up any other trade shows that could be relevant to your business. Chicago, we've been there for the last 2-3 weeks, back to back, spending the night, and we went to a couple of trade shows in Chicago.
Okay, well, what we'll do is we will reserve that for next week's show so we can give them all the meat and potatoes and don't have to scramble at the last minute.
Right.
But we will be bringing you all of that great trade show information because, again, if you are in business, you should know about trade shows. But we are definitely going to bid you adieu. Thank you for listening to Blacks in Business Radio here on Black Talk Radio Network. Please reach out and support Black Talk Radio Network, and we will talk to you next week. Thank you.